over here. We shall now run experiments on the Three Wise Radio.
Fist with a fried egg as the shell.
Just go back to the waffle taco.
Why is there two
No,
jokes?
bitch, just make the chicken bacon ranch taco again. Those are so good, and I bought 87 of them.
I was
Exactly
talking about
87 of them?
if they're doing breakfast, just go back to the waffle taco. That stuff was great.
Waffle taco was great, and they took it off real quick. I bet it's because it was the least profitable one. Would be
Probably.
my guess.
Probably.
Had to have been. Because the rest of the stuff was all shit they had anyway, but they had to actually get those waffles separate.
Taco Bell, is that good theater food?
Actually, it depends on the item.
You've eaten Taco Bell in a theater before.
I haven't eaten Taco Bell in the theater before, but what I quantify as taco appropriate. Or, sorry, as movie appropriate.
Garrett, you've eaten Taco Bell in a theater?
Oh, yeah.
Are you proud?
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, probably not.
Oh, boy.
Movie theater experiences and much more on today's show. Welcome to Three Wise Radio, a podcast where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, technology, the internet, and pretty much everything else media related. My name is Joe Greller. I am joined as usual by Garrett Welker and Sam Pixley. How are you doing this week, guys?
Doing great, Joe.
It's been an eventful week, Joe.
Why has it been an eventful week?
Nothing that's relevant to this podcast whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
But a busy work week. We all
there
have
you go.
those, right?
Yeah.
It's been an eventful week for me. This week I am broadcasting from the island of Theramascara. So on location in Amazonia.
You shouldn't be there.
No, I don't. You better be careful, dude.
Yes. So if I am discovered and this cast cuts out midstream, you'll know why.
You probably shouldn't be broadcasting from there.
I'll be honest, you couldn't even disguise yourself as a woman. The beard is a mild giveaway.
They have bearded women.
Not in Themyscira.
Actually, that is a big complaint that they had, wasn't it? That Wonder Woman shaved her armpits?
Was it? I don't know.
Interesting, though, that women... Oh, that's something. Because women have the thing where oh, no, I've got to shave my mustache. That's always a sitcom trope thing. Is oh, no, did I have to shave my mustache this week? I've got a hot date with a guy from work. But women don't grow beards. Right? Am I wrong?
All right. No, you're not wrong.
Interesting. I'm just not thinking about that.
There's sexism somewhere there. I just don't know what it is.
You're not wrong. Well, on today's show, we're going to be talking about movie theater experiences since we messed up the movie train yet again. We'll explain about that a little bit later. We will also be taking a look at Kurt Russell's career and Kurt Russell, the road thus far, since Guardians 2 is coming out in May and Fast and Furious comes out next week, or I should say Fate of the Furious. But first and foremost, what was that? I'm sorry?
How do you spell that?
F8?
Oh, that's right.
Great. Yeah, thank you. But first and foremost, some headlines. Starting with a headline that I know Sam is not thrilled about, but I'm going to be talking about it anyway. Manu Bennett is coming back to Arrow because, you know what? Why not? Let's just have a Deathstroke pop back up after we said he wasn't going to pop back up. But now he is. Is this DC just basically saying they don't care anymore?
Yes.
I mean... We'll have to see how it plays out with the rest of this season that I haven't watched yet. So, I don't know. It's just kind of...
From one aspect, it makes sense. It's because it's supposedly at the end of this, they'll be coming full circle on the island or whatever. So it would make sense if you were to see him one last time before they left or something along those lines.
I think it also hurts that you already... I mean, Deathstroke isn't even an Arrow villain. Like a Green Arrow villain, but you already kind of tapped your villain pool.
Well, there's not many Green Arrow villains to start.
And you killed one of your best ones with Vertigo.
Yeah.
So
did his face ever come back? Generic Russian man as Vertigo 2?
No, he did not. I do not believe so. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're... I think the most interesting thing is, are we going to see him killed because of the suspected Joe Manganiello, it's what's his name, being in the Batman movie.
Right.
But who knows if that's even going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I think all conjecture is kind of out the window at this point because there's too many question marks to even formulate any kind of opinion.
It seems like this show came along almost at the wrong time because now it's got too many hands in the pot, and Kingsburg's been bad, but now it's got so many in there that they're dictating everything they do.
Yeah.
The movie dictating it, other shows are dictating it, and it's just like we just wanted to tell the Dark Knight with Green Arrow. Can we get back to that?
I mean, it's fine.
All right. Moving on into some Star Wars news. We're recording this before it happens. So whatever this 40 years in the making is going to happen tomorrow morning on Good Morning America, you won't hear it on our cast, but you'll already know about it because we recorded before it broke. But apparently tomorrow, Good Morning America is saying that they're going to talk about that a live announcement's going to happen that's 40 years in the making for Star Wars fans.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, that's the whole point. I'm curious
people
myself.
want it to be a trailer, but I feel like it's going to be like the blueprints for the Lucas Museum have been released.
Oh, no. That would be sad.
Because as we
Oh.
all know, well, I guess no, maybe that's not true. I was going to say Jimmy Kimmel gets all the good stuff, but he's more comic book movies than Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Kim will still get the good stuff. This wouldn't be good stuff if it's that.
Right, that's kind of what I'm saying, is that how Good Morning America is going to be like, oh yeah, we've got the scoop. They don't really scoop anything.
No, it is going to be Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley, though, doing it. So who quite knows? My guess is it's a trailer for some
A
stupid reason.
teaser.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's what I see coming. However, there's plenty of Star Wars stuff down the line. Coming up next weekend, you're going to have the Star Wars Celebration, April 13th through the 16th. And if you want to check it out online, you can do so at StarWars.com or Star Wars YouTube. And it's, basically everything and anything. They're going to be streaming it live on those two websites for all the world to see.
All right.
I don't care.
Is there anything that would get you excited in today's world, Sam?
Oh, sure. No, absolutely. But we're also creeping up on one of my least favorite days. Can anybody name the day?
May 4th?
Yep. Hate that day. And anytime somebody says, oh, may the 4th be with you, it's just, I don't know why it bothers me. It's just like we don't need a set week/day 2 weeks later to celebrate Star Wars.
No, I understand.
There's not really much more. There's not a lot of complexity to my thoughts there. It's just I don't think it's something that's necessary.
You have the anniversary and then you have some other day.
I feel like Star Wars is in the news all the time. If there's not a Star Wars story every 2 weeks, something has gone terribly wrong. So why do we need this specific week to be like, oh yeah, let's celebrate the thing that we're already celebrating every Comic-Con, every week in the news, all the time?
Yeah.
It's because now it's owned by Disney, and we're getting a Star Wars film per year until we die.
Was there not a Star Wars Celebration before Disney bought it?
There was, but it wasn't as I think this is the third year in a row, and then next year they said they're not doing it, so they'll do it again the following year.
I could do that if it was like every 2 years.
They were spread out for a little bit there.
I still wouldn't participate.
Or Disney announced it. But this is leading me to the biggest Star Wars story of the week so far. Yes, Princess Leia was supposed to be a gigantic part of Episode 9. And while they are currently trying to rewrite it and rework it...
Why?
Really?
Oh.
Really? We're going to play that game?
She's dead.
Yes. They are now saying... Remember how they were saying a few months ago how they weren't going to CGI her?
Right.
Now they're saying her appearance is going to be used and they're going to take footage and basically put it in the movie.
Are we getting a Paul Walker situation then?
Probably.
That's what I'm thinking.
Or I don't think they'll do it to the extent that it was done in Fast and Furious. I think they'll more they'll do as little as they can to make a good send-off as possible.
Yeah.
They're apparently having to rework this a lot because her character was very, they said, played a very central role in wrapping up this trilogy.
Well, I would imagine that in this trilogy, this is essentially the death of the original trilogy. Han gets his movie, Leia gets her movie, Luke gets his movie. They're all dead. Let's make these movies until this planet, the sun explodes.
It's a possibility.
So,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, work out. Get in shape, man. Stay healthy.
Oh, he is not. Did you see the latest photos of him at like Comic-Cons and stuff where he's sitting on a stool and he's looking very rotund?
He's probably looking
been very
appropriate
rotund.
for his age.
Yeah.
But
What's your job? I sit on a stool and I read lines for various Joker movies / games / whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
I take a bus to comic conventions where I sit. What do you want?
Well, into some movie news. Speaking of Joker and Batman and Burton, Tim Burton has found possibly Dumbo's leading man. In Michael Keaton, reuniting Michael Keaton and Tim Burton for the first time in 25 years, it would also be, because this actor just recently signed on to play the ringmaster, Danny DeVito, in the film as Dumbo, could have the return of Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton in a Tim Burton film.
That's good. But who's Keaton supposed to be?
The villain.
Okay, good. For some reason, I was picturing Keaton as Dumbo, and it's like, he can't pull off that innocence anymore. We're way past that.
No, he is being eyed
Who's
for
the villain
the...
gonna be in Dumbo?
The Crows?
Maybe.
I honestly, no idea what happens in that movie anymore.
I've got to look this up because this is not the first time that we've been like,
He's in a
who's
circus,
who?
and then he's not in a circus. I honestly I have no idea what happens in that movie.
No one does. There's a fire at one point that he rescues people. I know that too. There's a mouse who's like his friend who lives in his hat. But here's the best part of it. The script is being written by Aaron Kruger.
He's good.
Is he? Do you know what he's famous for?
Clockwork Orange.
No.
Damn.
He is the only person to write on every Transformer film to date.
So he's unique.
Yes.
I got nothing.
You have the guy who literally brought you the entire Transformer series writing a Tim Burton Dumbo movie starring Danny DeVito as what I can only assume is a mutated penguin again directing a circus.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that.
I'm trying to think of a positive or a negative spin, and I can't find either.
Will you go see it even out of morbid curiosity?
This movie, I'll let you know in the teaser, but I would not spend more than $8 to see this movie. And
Okay.
I would not take more than one bus.
That's important.
That's what I'm looking at here.
That's very important where you're looking at. In other movie news, Dwayne Johnson has signed on to star in Jungle Cruise, which is also a Disney movie based on the famous Disney Jungle Cruise ride that just kind of goes, around the area. It's just like one of those boat rides at Disney World, Disneyland.
Oh,
Nothing
I rode
special.
that.
What?
I rode that. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
Yeah, this isn't Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion or something that they've had fun with in the past. This is literally just a boring boat ride.
Yeah.
This makes me concerned for Dwayne.
You think he'll do anything at this point, or
No,
what?
I think he's doing so much that I'm worried he might be sick. Or he knows that, I'm about to give all of this up in 5 years.
For?
Retirement.
Oh, I was going to say running.
Or just whatever he wants to do. Because I feel like because we've had this story before where it's like Dwayne is doing everything. He's doing everything. But now we're kind of devolving into scary territory with doing everything. He's also doing a lot of kids. I don't even know. He's just doing some bizarre things. What prompted you to do this?
Are we to Nicolas Cage standpoint yet?
No, and I don't think he'll ever do that.
Okay.
I hope not. Jesus.
I don't think he'll get bad enough scripts to do that. But I think he's great, and I don't think he'll stop being great, but I don't think you'll get to the point where his star power can carry a garbage movie. Like, I think he is 2 strikes away from having, like, a bad movie that's just not good. Like, the fact that San Andreas is getting a sequel boggles my mind.
I never saw it. Did any of you guys see it?
No.
No, so I guess that judgment is not valid, but...
Well, I feel like San Andreas would have been a movie that would have been really good 10 years ago or more when disaster films were still kind of in.
Pre-2012.
Yeah, I literally look at 2012 as like the last, not even good, but like disaster movie.
Year.
Kind of both, I was going with both there, but they kind of feel hollow now. Like, guys, we're not getting killed by an outside threat. Come on.
There will just come a point when people say, oh, you just love Dwayne so much. Like, when you're in 6 movies a year,
it's kind of hard not to.
No, but I think it's going to go away. Like, eventually the badness is going to start creeping in. Similar almost to the way, like, I think it'll be a similar trend to where the Netflix has gone with the Defenders, where, like, Iron Fist, they're like, oh, there's enough problems in this, and it's not, the spectacle's kind of gone, that it's hard to ignore the problems.
Yeah.
I think you might get there with him.
You
just
might.
as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, he's super charming and great, but at what point are you like, I'm not going to pay $10
to see the same thing
to
I
see
saw,
this,
like,
to
in
see
this other
him
movie.
being that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, very possible. Speaking of Defenders, their Netflix series is set to drop August 18th.
Yep.
So we can all look forward to that. Any thoughts from the mini teaser that we got?
The only thing that bothers me is that in everything that I've seen, set pictures, everything, Danny Rand is still not in any of them. And I don't know if that was a choice they made before or after the release.
He's been in photos
I
and
have
stuff.
not seen him in almost any set pic. It's always... I would say Rosario Dawson is in more set pics than he is.
Well,
I mean...
from my standpoint,
I get it.
I'm okay with that. But
she's a nice lady.
In other Marvel news, we have to talk about this because we buried the lead last week by my accident with Batgirl.
Shame.
So let's get this out there now. One thing we did get to see before we cast this week was the new Thor Ragnarok trailer. And
yeah, we did.
That looks amazing.
You mean Guardians of the Thor?
See, I don't get that feel.
I get it big time, but I'm actually okay with it. And I'm actually blown away that you are not bothered by it. I was totally expecting to defend it against you saying that it was clearly Guardians influenced.
I got a cosmic feel to it, and maybe that's the type of thing, but it felt like they were actually like going around in space and everything else. But I enjoy it. See, I'm one of those people that I don't think the Thor movies are as bad as everyone says they are. I think Thor's a boring character. But I think you're going to do something very fun with this character in this movie that's going to make it not be boring to the general audience goer.
I think they're doing a good job of playing on the Chris Hemsworth comedic aspect. I think they're beefing that up to make it like that buddy kind of thing going on. I was thoroughly pleased with it, and I agree with you 100%. The idea of you're almost getting 2 kind of separate groups of these movies now. You're getting the cosmic, which I don't want to throw completely because I would also put Ant-Man in this group, but you're getting the almost like fringe. So I would call it like you're getting your core movies and then you're also getting your fringe movies. And although they're totally like meld together, I feel like we're almost getting like 2 different issues of comics, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it does.
If you want to read the Cosmic, the Fringe, you've got that stuff, which is a little more playful, a little more colorful, a little more bizarre. And then you get your core stuff as well, like your Winter Soldier, things like that. And I think that's really cool.
It is. You're talking about your Debbie Downers there, though. Where would you throw Spider-Man into this?
Well, that's not Marvel.
It is.
No. Sony.
No, it's Marvel.
I don't know yet. I think
you're that much and not be Marvel.
I think he's kind of the just like the renegade, which is where I think exactly where he should be.
Okay.
The only other thing that I saw was we're clearly we've moved past boom, and we're now in retro songs. But
we are.
I'm totally okay with that because I think it's a little more challenging to pick which song fits into which movie rather than
It's a lot more diverse. Like,
yeah.
I also felt like that song was just a great pick for that trailer. For the Thor trailer.
I think it's also a nod to editing and the craft that I think is probably sank in a while of creating a trailer, because now you have to create this trailer that melds with the rhythm of the song rather than a trailer where you cut the scene every time there's a wah.
Okay, so last question, and I think this is a good transition into our movie segment. Where do you get that cutoff of classic old song? For example, how old do we go? When we got Deadpool, X Gonna Give It To You is a 15-year-old song at this point. But did that qualify as having an old song?
No.
Your trailer?
No.
So where's that cutoff?
Pre-90s.
Okay.
I didn't even feel like this song was like an old song. Like, I know it is an old song, but like that's not the feel I got. Because
How old is it?
70s?
Yeah, it's 70s for sure. But I mean, like, if you like, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Led Zeppelin, right?
Yes.
Okay, over half of Led, like, there. I remember seeing a pie chart that was making fun of this, but it's true. Led Zeppelin songs are either about A, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That's it.
Okay.
B, Vikings, or C, Middle Earth and the Hobbit.
Joke's on you. Vikings thoroughly enjoy sex, drugs, and if they had,
Rock
they
and
would have
roll.
enjoyed rock and roll.
You're right.
And
But I mean,
enjoyed
like,
all those things with hobbits.
so I just saw that as like, oh, that's cool because they sing about Vikings and shit. So
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to be a little more selective in what you're doing.
Oh, of course.
I mean, they did the same thing with the Justice League trailer, with like getting everybody together. Like that was the theme. Like you have to actually pick. It's not that hard because you can probably just Google like 70s songs that are about bringing people together.
yeah,
But it's a little more challenging than the bomb. The last thing that I'll say about this trailer looked dope. Unfortunately, this will be the first ever. So I personally have a big collection of figures and things from the Justice League movies. This will be the first time that I have to buy a Marvel figure from a fucking movie.
being
Because Planet Hulk. Boy, does
that's
he
not
look
what you were
good.
going with that.
What'd you
I
say,
thought-
Joe?
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going with another thing.
No.
Do you know what I thought you were going to go with?
I don't, and I'll ask you in 1 second, but I have to again say, he looks so good. I get that he originally has a shield or whatever. Don't care. He looks so good, and I'm about that. Joe, what did you think I was going to say?
Goldblum.
If they make one, I'll buy it. If they make one, I'll buy it. It's done. He looked great, too. It all looked great. It was exactly what you were hoping that it was going to be, as a cosmic, like, funny, good time, but also talks about, like, the destruction of entire
world.
And I think that gets pretty close to, based on what it looks like her power levels are. Ooh. I think we're getting closer to the confirmation that she will be this universe's death for Thanos to be like, what up,
Yo, girl.
What up, BB girl?
Hey, they made her look good, so why not? Coming up, Kurt Russell, The Road Thus Far. But first and foremost, I gotta quit saying that. Just first, movies.
Look! Up in the air! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Three Wise Radio!
Well, that's disappointing.
All right, since we were supposed to have a movie train segment, funny enough, we found out that both... I'm not even going to try and make a train analogy for this. Colossal, which we were going to see, does not come out in either of the cities that either of us are currently residing in, be that Chicago or Themyscira, or St. Louis, as some people like to call it. So what we had to do was we're going to be pushing it back to Baby Driver, which is a ways away. So this is going to be a long break on the movie train. But what I wanted to do to scramble and come up with something else to talk about was to kind of take an idea, take a look at the movie theater experience for us personally, be it what makes it special, why it's still around today, and kind of how we appreciate it and what movies qualify. Gotcha. So since we don't get to have the movie experience this week, I wanted to break that down. Sound fun?
Yeah. Side note analogy for this whole thing.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, think of us as like railway bandits. We're just jumping from train to train right now.
But it's one. Sure, that's fine. We are now railroad bandits. But the first thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is because this is clearly, we wouldn't be paying $15 for a ticket, and that might be on the low end sometimes, if this weren't a special, if the theaters weren't still a special experience. Yep. So I was wondering what you guys think is special about the movie theater experience.
Personally, especially if it's like the first time seeing a movie, like, you know, sometimes they'll re-release movies in theaters, but like, especially if it's the first time seeing a movie, it's that immersion into the world. Like, yeah, you can kind of get that if you have a big TV and surround sound, but like, just being dropped completely in whatever this movie is, and you know, if they do a good job with the movie, you're gonna just completely forget that you're watching a movie sometimes. So that's what it is for me.
I would agree. It has something to do with the size of the screen and being engulfed in it. It has to do with the fact in these things that are bigger than life pop up, and these giant things just come to life in front of you. And if it's during the day, there's the whole sensory change of it, especially that used to be some of my favorite times going to the movies as a kid, is it would be almost like I was saying, the sensory change of really like bright outside, and then it's really dark in the theater, and then boom, it's really bright outside again. And you're wondering like what just happened to a certain extent, like trying to get adjusted to the sights and sounds, or it's just going around and being immersed around people that are enjoying the same things you are. Like another one of my favorite memories of going to theaters when I was younger was just seeing like the crowds of people going on a Friday night and being around like tons and tons of people. And yeah, it's stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of hit on what it was for me. And to me, I don't get the in my mind, the movie theater experience unless I see something the weekend it comes out. For exactly the reason that you said, is that it's also this kind of like strange idea. It's almost like a culture, almost like a tribal mentality of we're all coming together to see this thing, and we wanted to see it so quickly that we took time out of our lives to make this happen as soon as possible. Yeah. So if I see it the weekend of, kind of having that embrace with everybody is really special. But on the other hand, I also, because you guys know me, whenever we sit in a movie, I sit in the very back because I actually like seeing the screen a little smaller and then also having the crowd in front of me, like in the very bottom eye line. Mm-hmm. But I also hate whenever anybody steps out of line in the theater as well. So it's an interesting kind of juxtaposition there. If anybody steps out of line, I immediately hate the movie theater experience.
Yeah, I can tell that from you immediately.
Well, if somebody, I mean, we've also had a bad string of people being on their phones during trailers, which I guess is another question. When is it appropriate to be on your phone?
See, that's the weird thing. 5 years ago, I would have said never. But nowadays, you can never tell if it's something important or if it's just someone being a kind of an annoyance. Like, hey, I thought this was what was going on today. I'm sorry, I haven't talked to you in 3 weeks. What are you doing? You know, you can never tell if it's an important call or if it's not an important call.
Here's my view. If it was important, you would step out of the theater and take care of it.
You goddamn right.
If it's not that important that you need to...
How do you know without checking?
Huh?
How do you know if it's important without checking that it's important?
If somebody pops their phone up for less than 5 seconds, it's fine. But you can tell an emergency in an emergency text or an emergency call. You can tell in 5 seconds. Yeah. So if you pop up your phone for the previews or whatever, or even during the movie and you get up and go, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But if the previews play, get off your phone. Done deal. You don't need to Snapchat how dope the Fate of the Furious trailer is. 2 movies that we've been to in a row.
Yeah.
It's probably the same guy.
Ooh.
Oh, really? Both times that happened?
Yeah, it was when we saw. What was the movie we saw where it happened?
It happened when we went to go see Logan, and then it happened when you went
It
to go see
happened when
Kong.
I saw Kong too, just like back to back.
Wow.
Enraged. You don't need to Snapchat that. Everyone can watch the trailer at home.
Yeah.
That's fine. So, okay. So that's what makes a movie experience special. Now, I guess my question is on the other end. What makes a movie theater movie? Because a big thing that we do here in our rating system is we say, do you see it in theaters? Do you not see it in theaters? I think a big part of that is, does this movie deserve to be seen on a jumbo screen?
I think it's a crapshoot. I don't think there's a clear, straight answer to that because I think that's part of the fun of going to a movie theater, especially when things weren't readily available as they are today. When you would have to wait 6 months to maybe a year to see the movie if you really wanted to see it, and getting kind of that crapshoot. I've just never gotten over that to the point of I can't tell you if I want to go see it and I need to see it. It's a movie theater experience because I'm going to go rush out and go see it.
Yeah.
How late do you have to wait now? Is it like 4 months?
At the least.
Or at the latest?
Sorry, latest, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like these things get pumped out pretty quickly now.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, yes, it is a crapshoot. It kind of depends on the quality, I guess, the height of the spectacle that this movie's going
That's
for.
the exact word I was going to use.
So, like, for example, like, if it's a movie that's going to be telling a great story, like, like Logan did, yeah, that's something I want to go see in the theater. If it's something that's going to, immerse me in the world, I don't want to use Fast and Furious as an example, but, like, it's going to be one of those movies where, like, you're going to go to and you're going to laugh at it, and you're going to be like, oh, look at those cool explosions and stunts and shit, and look at all this action stuff, but you're still going to be immersed in that. It kind of, yeah.
For me, it's pretty straightforward. Like, it's a larger than life thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to see Boyhood in the theaters because there's nothing there that has spectacle. It's like if there's something larger than life, like King Kong, Godzilla, Magic Mike, things like that are really big and there's a lot of spectacle going on there. I think that's what you kind of want to see.
I would agree.
Oh, sure. No, and you laugh, though, but honestly, some of the best movie-going experiences I've had are watching Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, because there's spectacle. There's like...
Yeah.
I think they just came out with a report that like millions of dollars have been destroyed in those movies. So that's why you go to see it, because honestly, it's not that great to watch at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's what I would quantify it for. Now, with that in mind, can you think of 3 movies that you had wished you'd seen in theaters that maybe came out before our time, or we hadn't seen them before? Or 2 movies, or 1 movie?
One for sure was Raiders of the Lost Ark. I would have loved to have seen that opening scene in theaters. That's one I can definitely say I would have liked to have seen. I honestly can't think of too many others. It's just I'm trying to, because it's really weird. It's not the movie itself for the most part. Like I said, it's just the experience of it. Like, I don't know. And the experience seems to change every 10 years, because I remember when I was little, it was just the awe of being in the theater. And then 10 years ago, and then you just jump forward to like 10 years later, it's like, what is coming out? That was the only place you could see trailers to like know what was coming out in the theaters. Now it's like, today we're talking about Thor Ragnarok because it was released on YouTube. So I'm going to walk into a theater and not be shocked by it. I'm already going to seen it a few times. It doesn't have that awe-inspiring thing of like, boom, oh my God, that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, fair. For me, after having seen Life, I wish I could have seen Alien.
Oh, yeah.
In theaters. But that also brings in a lot of things too. Would that still be scary today, comparatively?
Yes.
And I would say probably, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I wish that would have been one. Fortunately, the only other one that I would have said was like the original release of Godzilla. But fortunately, at a at a movie theater in St. Louis called the Tivoli, they actually showed the original Japanese movie version when I was a kid, and my dad took us to that. And that was awesome. So that was also crossed off my list. So that's kind of the big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett, you got anything?
I would definitely agree with Godzilla. Or I would agree with all of that, yeah, actually, yeah. My big movie that I would have wanted to see.
While you're piecing it together, the only one that I think I would have maybe liked more, because I'm not a big fan of the movie, Ghostbusters. But I think maybe if I had seen it in theaters, I would have liked it a lot more. But that movie, the first time I saw it was like on a Comedy Central, whoops-a-daisies halfway through, and I just never been blown away by it.
No, and I think you're right. That's part of the movie-going experience. You're talking about 1982 or 83. You're talking about some of the biggest comedians on the planet at this point, and to see something like that Marshmallow Man come out,
right? Yeah,
just be huge, and not expecting it, because that wasn't in the trailer back then. Just to see that and not expecting it, I think once again, it has to do with how you interpret the movie the first time you see it. Think about how many people love sequels, but it's because they've seen the second or third installment before they've seen the original, and they'll go, "Oh no, the second one's way better than the original." But if you've seen the original first, more likely you're going to say, "Well, the original was better than the sequel."
Yeah. The only other one that I had was potentially. This is more of I don't wish I could have seen it in theaters, but I wish I had been in a specific theater. I would have wanted to see The Exorcist when it originally came out.
Ooh.
In one of those theaters, because that has, more than any other movie, the biggest amount of hubbub about like the movie theater experience, saying that like people went to the hospital during it, and like there were just outrageous things happening in the theaters. Like that's what I would have wanted, to sit in a theater where somebody was so freaked out that they had to go to the hospital mid-theater to see if it was actually held up to the spectacle.
You know what? Talking about that, Blair Witch is another one you can throw in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because people, it was like the beginning of found footage as we know it, and some people believed it was real. So if you could have been in theaters where people believed that they were watching an actual found footage movie, I think that would have been an interesting experience.
Yeah. That's true. The best part about that also is, had that movie come out, when did that movie come out?
99.
Had that
maybe
movie come out 5 years later, wouldn't have happened.
No, of course not.
Because the internet, you're like, nope, fake. But we still had like kind of the naivete to say, oh, this is real?
Well,
like, clearly not.
Yeah.
I think the last good example of marketing like that is look at, what was the last found footage film that has been doing like sequels left and right for a while there, with The Possession.
The only one I can think of right now is Quarantine or Wreck.
Yeah, Paranormal Activity. Thank you.
Paranormal Activity.
Think about the marketing for that movie before they went out, and it wasn't so much it was on found footage, even though that was how they tried to play it. It was more on the crowd reaction at that last jump scare, and being like, "You'll never know how like intense this film is," and they would play off a lot of those fears. And that's the last time we've seen that really happen in a marketing campaign for a movie. Yeah. But that's a marketing campaign that as old as Alfred Hitchcock used to do that all the time. Like if you've ever seen a trailer for the original Psychos, it says no one's allowed in this film after it starts, and there was no footage of the movie itself. It was just a warning for the movie itself. It was great.
I think it's interesting that we're touching on a lot of horror movies. And I think a lot of that also is the horror experiences you like. You actually like seeing it in theaters because you don't want to watch it at home because then it brings it into your home, which is what The Ring really capitalized on.
That was one of the ones
I don't want to go lay down in bed because there's a TV in my house. But if you see it in theaters, then you and everybody else, again, that kind of tribal mentality, you and everybody else can walk out of the theater being like, that wasn't real, right? Right? Somebody told me that wasn't real. Cool. All right, cool. I'm going home.
Yeah. No, that was one of my movies that I wish I would have seen in theaters.
Ring?
The Ring.
Oh.
Because I saw The Ring 2 in theaters, but I didn't see the original one in theaters. And then my other was Jurassic Park.
Saw Jurassic Park in theaters.
I did not get to. So.
I got to many years later.
Yep. We went to the same show.
I mean, if I get the chance to see either Jurassic Park or the original trilogy of Star Wars in theaters again, I will go do that.
I'm actually surprised, or maybe they have done it and I haven't noticed, because they did it with Lord of the Rings, I think, at some point when...
You talking about re-releasing Star Wars?
Yeah.
They did in '97 for the 20th anniversary. That's when they first added all the bells and whistles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Especially since the new ones have come up and stuff, I'm surprised they haven't done it again.
I think they did around the time when Force Awakens was coming out.
Maybe somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, next question I have. Another crucial element that we haven't talked about yet. What's the food policy for you guys? What's good? What's out? 'Cause I'll tell you right now, if you buy fucking nachos, you go to hell.
Oh, no.
And that's why you can't have Taco Bell in the theater, because it's crunchy.
Oh, no.
Soft
No
tacos, my
crunchy.
friend.
Exactly. That's why when I did, it was soft tacos
Soft
or
taco's
burritos.
fine. Soft taco's fine. But if you buy... What kind of sadist brings nachos into a movie theater? The kind that has 3 kids with them, and they're loud as shit. Yep.
My food policy is go with a friend who usually carries a purse or a big bag. Go to the Dollar Tree beforehand, get your candy there, go into the theater.
Okay, so you're a cheater.
Yep.
All right.
Sure am. You can also usually find better candy there.
That's fair. Joe?
I'm a classic soda popcorn guy. There's not much to it.
And you know what? I'll give you that, because I was actually waiting for somebody, if somebody was going to take it. But my number one food item, other people's popcorn. Because nobody finishes it.
It's
Because
so
you
much. It's just a ridiculous amount.
You always buy the large because it's 50 cents more. And then I just get to capitalize. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I have bought popcorn at a movie theater. Because someone else does, and then bada bing, I've got half a tub of popcorn.
There you go.
Now, we'll tell you this. The one year I worked at a movie theater and was actually cooking and bartending at a movie theater, my movie theater food of choice became a burger with mozzarella sticks on top,
That's genius.
doused in buffalo sauce. That became my movie. It sounds weird, but it was
Is this
very...
just the story of how you were an innovator? That doesn't sound weird. That sounds fine.
It sounds disgusting.
Taco Bell is coming out with a taco made with a fried egg as the casing of it.
Also sounds disgusting.
That one sounds good. It's cheese, breading. I mean, there's a lot of breading, but it's cheese, buffalo. It's a buffalo cheeseburger with extra cheese.
It's very good.
Nobody's denying that except Garrett, because he's a psychotic. Only other thing I'll say is ices over sodas.
Oh, yeah.
I'll treat.
Agree with you on that.
Yeah, and word of the wise, it may sound cool, especially if you just turned 21. You don't need a beer when you go see a movie. No. You don't need alcohol when you go see the movie, because you're only going to keep getting up to pee. And it's going to do no one any good.
That's my only other problem, is that I will eat the food before the movie starts. Yeah. I'll eat all my food before the movie starts, which is, again, why I capitalize on extra people's popcorn, because it takes about 30 minutes for them to give up and just pass it along or put it on the floor.
Well, it used to not be that way, too. Trailers weren't a half hour long sometimes before the movie.
That's fair.
Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm going to snack on this all, and half hour in, you're just starting the movie.
But here we are, Joe, and I'm coming up gold.
True. All right, what's the last thing on your list there?
Last one that I have. Are there any movies you wish you hadn't seen in theaters or are mildly embarrassed that you had?
Spider-Man 3.
You're embarrassed that you saw it? Or you just really wish you hadn't?
I just wish I hadn't seen it in theaters.
I am not embarrassed that I saw it. I'm not embarrassed that I saw it twice opening day.
You should be.
I was embarrassed that the movie that I saw twice in theaters was Leave It to Beaver.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple movies I'm embarrassed that I saw in theaters.
Shut up, Garrett. It's a classic. It's
classic
based
American
on a classic.
Oh. There you go.
There's a couple movies I'm embarrassed I saw in theaters. One is Mona Lisa Smiles.
Good for you. Who's
But
in
I
that? Is that Julia?
That's Julia Roberts, yeah.
It is, okay. It sounds like a Julia Roberts movie.
Yeah, except me and my friend, we walked out of it. We were there because of a bunch of girls, and we walked out of it even before it finished.
With the girls still in the theaters?
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I believe it was someone's birthday, too. We're really breaking it down. And then a group of guys when we were 14, and I'm talking like 6 or 7 of us, no girls at all. all went to go see the Britney Spears movie Crossroads.
Mm,
That's one I wish I could take back.
but you can't.
No, I can't. That is one I'm actually embarrassed about.
Garrett, any movies for you that you've seen that you regret?
No.
No. Live your life. Except for Spider-Man 3, live your life without regret.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also didn't really like going to the movies. Wasn't really a big thing with my family. So
You didn't see Amazing Spider-Man 2, if that helps.
I mean, I went to go see that.
Wait, Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 3? Did you say Amazing Spider-Man 3?
No, I said Spider-Man 3
Okay,
is the
good.
movie I regret seeing in theaters.
No one's seen Amazing Spider-Man.
I regret
Not
seeing.
yet.
I regret seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2 as many times as I did in theaters.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. The only other one that I regret is I saw Jumper,
Oh, okay,
In
I take that
theaters?
back.
and surprisingly enough, a month after I saw that in theaters alone, I transferred colleges and moved to a different city. I don't know if it was because I didn't like my major and wanted to get out of that school, or maybe it's because I had such a bad time watching Jumper.
That's yeah.
That's the one with Hayden Christensen, right?
Yep.
Is it called Leaper?
No, it's Jumper.
Jumper. It's Jumper. Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson. Brief cameo by Kristen Stewart at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Why? Is it a cameo at that point?
Yeah,
She was
it's a
on-
cameo.
She was in earlier
It's
in the movie, wasn't she?
What?
She was in earlier in the movie, wasn't she?
No.
Oh, she's the kid of the
That just answers the door.
lady that I don't remember that movie at all.
And that is one of the two best, like, what the fuck cameos at the end of the movie. The best what the fuck cameo at the end of the movie, James Franco at the end of Wicker Man as the guy who they're hitting on next after Nicolas Cage is already dead.
But I don't think those are because I think to have a cameo, you have to be a recognized figure. I don't think Kristen Stewart was a recognized figure. It's not like people are like, "Oh shit, the girl from Panic Room."
No. Oh, shit, the girl
no.
from Twilight, which came out 2 years earlier.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I gotta find this timeline. But that's all I got for the movie theater experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, something about the movie theater experience that many people have seen is Kurt Russell throughout his entire life. Why were Walt Disney's last words Kurt Russell? We may never know, but we're going to investigate next.
It's alive! Master, what is it? Three Wise Radio!
But like we keep saying, with Guardians of the Galaxy coming out later this year, actually next month, and us reviewing Fate of the Furious, F8, Jesus Christ, next month as well, and Kurt Russell being in both of those films, we thought we'd take a look back at doing a road thus far, as we've done with Willem Dafoe, and I think we've done this with one or two other people, haven't we? I just can't remember off the top of my head. Normally, I'm really good at this. However, one of the most interesting things is that a lot of people like to believe that Kurt Russell started as a grown man, but that's simply not true. He made his film debut in an uncredited part in an Elvis Presley movie called It Happened at the World's Fair, and then went on to be a Disney kid for the next, few years.
He was a Disney kid?
He was a Disney kid.
Man,
he was
that
one
was
of
a
the
departure.
original. What?
That was a departure.
Yeah, he's one of the original Disney kids. He was also an extra in, not an extra, but played a guest up on an episode of Gilligan's Island. Don't know how a boy got on the island, but God damn it, Kurt Russell found a way.
The Others. I don't know.
The others.
Oh, no,
That's
that's
not-
that other show about the island, isn't it? Lost.
I think so.
That's Lost. What are you going to do?
That's the one that's exact opposite of Gilligan's Island. Although weekly, it's comical to watch them fail trying to get off. Some other stuff that he was in to kind of start out is kind of all over the place, but it's not really until a little-known movie, which I don't know if you guys have seen or not, but it's one of my favorites. Comes out in 1981, and it's called Escape from New York, where he plays
Snake
a man.
Pilsen.
Yes.
Tough guy.
Have not seen it.
It's a great movie where it's like he has to like save the president's daughter, but he's an escaped convict, and I want to say it takes place in the year like 2002 or something like that.
2013.
2015, is it?
2013.
13? Okay. Like we've clearly already passed it, and none of this stuff like came to fruition. They made a sequel like 10 or 12 years down the line called Escape from LA. But this film always stuck with me because of how much of a dump the St. Louis Grand Hall and Union Station was. And it was such a dump that Carpenter films a gladiator scene there with Russell Crowe. And he described it as the worst day that he had filming that entire movie.
Damn.
That's how much of a dump it was.
That's fair. Keep in mind, he does all this with an eye patch.
Yep. I do
True.
know that.
Because he's Snake Plissken.
Pliskin.
Sorry. The important part is his name is Snake.
Snake?
Yes. He then says goodbye to Disney in a voice role. Where
Wait, he was
plays,
a Disney kid when he did Escape from L.A.?
He still was under Disney contract because he does one more Disney film after that. You
Fox
guys
and
know
the
it.
Hound.
Yep. He plays Copper in Fox and the Hound.
When did Fox and the Hound come out?
81. Same year that Escape from LA came out. I'm
Wait.
sorry, Escape from New York came out.
Oh, yeah,
He
that's
played
right.
adult. He played adult Copper.
There's two escapes?
Yes, there's Escape from LA and Escape from New York. New York is the first one.
You're right. Did he have an eye patch in the first one?
Yes, he did.
Okay, just checking. Making sure we're on the same page here.
Yes, he had an eye patch. Then, of course, one of Sam's favorite movies, and this is probably his first introduction to Kurt Russell.
This is his
The
greatest movie, by the way.
His greatest movie? No, his greatest movie is a few
Nope.
years down the line.
Nope, the best line in the history of cinema in this movie, Joe.
What movie is it?
The Thing.
I know that.
What's the line?
The line is a giant alien yells at him and he says, "Yeah, fuck you too," and chucks a stick of dynamite at it. And it's the greatest delivery, the greatest line. It's all done. That's why cinema isn't exciting anymore, because they already peaked. It's over. We've just been on a 30, 40-year downward trajectory, boys, because we're all cashed out. All right? Are we all on the same page there? We all agree? Great. It's done.
Clearly, they were not cashed out because one of the greatest movies of all time comes out
Not
4
true.
years later in Big Trouble in Little China. I still don't think you've seen this movie.
Me? No.
And
Why?
I'm telling you,
Perfection
why?
already happened in 1982.
Because it's a great film. It is a great film without a doubt. It's got a lot of your sadly Asian tropes of like Chinese culture because it takes place in Chinatown.
Is it Asian tropes or is it white people's tropes of Asian culture? That
Yeah,
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one.
But basically what it is Kurt Russell defeats a sorcerer with reflexes.
You know,
It-
actually, that probably is the Kurt Russell movie that I do need to see. I do need to see that, for sure.
It really it's got crappy special effects by today's standards, but it's so goddamn entertaining.
He is a truck driver that rocks a sleeveless shirt
Yep.
the entire duration of the movie. Is that correct?
Entire duration of the movie, and tries to hook up with Kim Cattrall
Well,
before she became that thing that used to be on Sex and the City.
the old slut.
Yes, like I said, that thing.
It's fair.
Another movie that he did that's basically gotten a lot of notoriety, and I believe it's his first movie with his current partner Goldie Hawn, is Overboard.
Yep.
Which I've seen bits and pieces of this movie throughout the years, and I probably have seen the whole thing at some point in my life. I just can't remember much about it. I want to say he lies to her and like says they're together, but they're not.
Yeah.
I thought
like,
that
it's a
was
very-
movie with Cuba Gooding Jr.
That's boat.
Maybe.
Boat Trip.
Yeah.
That's Boat Trip. Never mind.
Overboard is a completely different thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, that's fair.
I'm very sure. So
Aren't they trying to remake a bunch of? Is he currently the guy that all of his movies are being remade? Because aren't they trying to remake Big Trouble Little China?
yes,
And aren't they also trying to remake Escape from New York?
yes.
All right, we're about to get a wave of Kurt Russell cameos here.
Yes, we are. And hey, it's why everyone's so excited to see him and Sylvester Stallone together is because in 1989, one of the best buddy cop films of all time, Tango and Cash, came out.
Did you see they already said it's not going to happen?
Yeah, they're not going to be on screen together.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Or are they?
They're not,
we'll find
which
out
also
in a
proves
month.
my theory on who Sylvester Stallone is in Guardians, as we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, but no, this is actually kind of awesome movie. It stars Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, and Terry Hatcher, and Jack Palance. It's a damn good buddy cop movie.
You had me at Jack Palance.
I had
Who's
Jack
that?
Curley. Great. 1991. I remember this being one of the first big action blockbusters to come out in my lifetime because I was about 3. I was 4. Backdraft. I can't tell you why I remember this, but I remember this being like, oh, this is like the action movie everyone's going to go see.
It's a spectacle movie.
Yeah, it's all about like firefighters, like a good firefighter and a bad firefighter, and there's a firefighter starting fires, and it stars a Baldwin before they all became irrelevant besides Alec, and it's pretty good.
Kurt Russell plays 2 guys.
I did not see that movie, but I did go on the ride at Universal Studios, which was antiquated? Is antiqued? What's the right say? It is old as shit. It was not captivating.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, antiquated.
Another funny one, and I believe another funny one is Captain Ron. If you haven't seen that one, that shows more of his comedic side. It's him and Martin Short. He basically plays like basically this is Jack Sparrow before there was a Jack Sparrow, and if he was in modern day. At one point, he has an eye patch like he does in Escape from New York, but it turns out that it's just fake halfway through the movie.
Ah, that son of a bitch.
So,
What year are we in now?
92.
92,
Oh,
so we
baby.
1993.
Ooh!
One of Sam's favorites.
Tombstone.
Yes,
Arguably the greatest Western of all time.
arguably.
Arguably because other people foolishly try to argue that it isn't.
It's the second greatest Val Kilmer movie of all time.
What's the best Val Kilmer
Don't
movie
even
of all
say
time?
it. Don't even say it.
Batman?
No.
Yes, it's
No.
Batman Forever.
Top Gun.
No, that's the third one.
It's not Top Gun. What's the best Val Kilmer movie of all time?
Batman Forever.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Tombstone is the best Val Kilmer movie of all time.
We clearly have different standards of Val Kilmer.
Oh, yes, we do.
Val Kilmer doesn't use a revolver in Batman Forever.
I'll give you that.
2 of them even.
Doesn't mother drunkenly like he does in Tombstone either.
Not yet. I mean, fair. That's very fair.
So, but back on to Kurt Russell. What most people don't know is that he actually had an uncredited role in Forrest Gump. As we talked about, one of his first movies was with Elvis Presley. He then impersonates Elvis Presley in Forrest Gump, which he's done on more than one occasion.
Impersonated Elvis Presley, or
No,
Movie.
he's
gone
the one that,
non-credited?
no, he's the one that did the voice of Elvis on
In Forrest Gump.
Forrest.
Okay.
He also played him in a made-for-TV movie, but I skipped over that because it wasn't a major release.
Fair.
So he's played him more than once. Then you get on to Stargate,
Oh, yeah.
which I've seen episodes of the TV show, but you know what I remember most about Stargate
Nope.
is when they're in South Park, when they have Imagination Land. The Imagination Land trilogy,
through a
and they
Stargate.
have the Stargate gate in front of them, and then they're like, "Kurt Russell, why are you here?" Because you were kind of in that movie that one time. So that's
I
the
guess
only thing I know
That's all
about.
the evidence you need. This is terrible.
Sadly, the only thing I know about Stargate. Then he's also in 3,000 Miles to Graceland, where he plays an Elvis impersonator. So,
God, okay.
Not-
Easy does it.
not quite out of that yet. Then there's apparently he's in Vanilla Skies. I've tried to watch that movie multiple times. Didn't even know he was in it till now.
Who's he in Vanilla Sky?
McCabe.
Who?
That is a Tom Cruise movie.
No,
that's
I know what Vanilla Sky is, but who is he in that?
He plays someone named McCabe.
Great. Because I've seen that movie.
I've only seen bits and pieces. I can't make it through that movie.
It's not great.
So I'm going to jump ahead because this is one that should be on everyone's list. And I'm sure someone's seen it all at once. Miracle. It's a pretty good movie.
Did you know that there is a Disney Channel original movie called Miracle in Lane 2, starring Frankie
Muniz?
That's his last. I could not remember his last name, as a handicapped kid that rides a car.
No, I did not.
Did not know that.
It's
No.
yeah,
'Cause
and then he goes to heaven, and in heaven everybody's in wheelchairs, riding around on angel wings.
Yeah, I was not aware of that. But Miracle, he plays Herb Brooks, and it's about the Miracle on Ice when they beat the Russians. The Russian game in that movie is the best I've ever seen hockey look in a movie or on the big screen.
More realistic than Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
Better than Goon, another favorite of yours.
Yeah, because you don't get especially Goons. Which I still want to see the sequel, but it's only been released in Canada. Those bastards.
Damn.
It shows you the pace of the game. It shows you how fast it is. In Goon, it's kind of centered on one player, and he's slow, and it's kind of comical. Same with Slapshot, which is another great hockey movie. That's more comical and like beating people up. But in Miracle, you actually get to see the fast pace of the game, what goes through a player's head, with the plays developing on the ice, some of just the work ethic that goes into it, and why you can make an argument that hockey players are some of the best athletes on the planet, in what could be arguably the toughest sport on the planet. So that's why I go with that. Then this is also a Disney movie, but it's one that I find this funny. Sky High, where he plays like a superhero dad and his son doesn't have superpowers.
Oh, sucks.
You didn't like that movie?
I didn't see it. No, I'm just saying that situation
I
sucks.
really enjoyed that movie, actually.
Yeah, that movie was great.
Does it turn out that not having superpowers is actually a superpower?
No, he developed superpowers.
Yeah,
Of
he
course
develops
he
them.
does. Damn it.
He
What does
doesn't
get?
Batman anyone, so nothing like that.
What does Kurt Russell have?
Super
Kurt Russell's basically Superman.
Yeah, you damn right. Can he fly?
Yes.
So is he like a really well-known superhero?
Yes.
Okay. And what does his son end up doing?
I can't remember, in all honesty. I do know it's like, but you have like the evil kids that like have detention, and like he forms like the group of rejects. And look, it's an extremely cookie cutter, like follow color by numbers movie.
It's got
But
Danielle
for some
Panabaker.
reason, yeah,
Okay.
for some reason though, it's just so damn entertaining. Rounding this out as quickly as possible though, Death Proof was a movie.
He's great in that.
He is. That movie though
movie's
is not
great,
good.
but he's great in that.
That movie is a lot of build up for a lot of nothing, sadly, in my personal opinion.
He's real good at delivering lines. When he gives the signature line, the titular line of, think about this car, it's 100% death proof. You just really have to be sitting in my seat. That's a great line. That's a great scene. He knows how to deliver a line.
That's true. And then actually for 4 years, he does nothing. From 2007 to 2011, he does nothing, and then does a movie called Touchback, where he does like a lot of nobody movies. Does a movie called Touchback, The Art of Steel, which I always see on Netflix but never click on. And then comes back with Furious 7, where he plays Mr. Nobody. And then we get Bone Tomahawk, The Hateful Eight, and of course we get Fate of the Furious and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which leads us up to the current day.
Do you think we'll get another movie by him where he's not like either repurposing an old character he's played or is trying something different? AKA not a Western?
Probably not.
I think we will. Because here's the thing. I think at the end of the day, his presence on screen is what everyone thinks Jeff Bridges actually is. Like, if you look at Tron Legacy, or you look at some of the Jeff Bridges more feel-good movies, that's Kurt Russell in every movie. Kurt Russell's been able to master the action comedy trope of just being able to make you laugh while at the same time entertaining you in a high-flying environment.
It's because he's a charming dick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. Essentially, it's kind of got the Han Solo thing, but he does it in all of his movies.
Yeah.
Like, not to that extent, but it's just a little pinch of that.
Which one could argue why he would be such a great father figure for the Chris Pratt character.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I forgot he was doing that. Yeah. I'm interested to see how that all plays out.
You mean a planet with genitalia?
Yep. Yep. What a career. Peaking in 1982, but what are you going to do?
As usual, we end every episode with What's Piquing Our Interest, where we just say what's piquing our interest. Garrett, is your crossbow piquing your interest? We teased it on Instagram this week.
You know, as great as that crossbow was, that's only a small stint of what's piquing my interest. If you go online to either the Three Wise Instagram or my own personal Instagram, I got my crossbow in for my Bioshock costume. Real dope. I'm really excited. But no, what's actually piquing my interest, our buddy Alex, friend of the show, got me looking into this movie called Free Fire. Set in Boston in 1978, a meeting in a deserted warehouse between two gangs turned into a shootout in a game of survival. This movie pretty much takes place almost entirely, it seems, in the warehouse, but it's starring Charlton Copley, Brie Larson, Armie Hammer. Who else we got?
What movie is this?
It's called Free Fire.
All right.
Fair enough.
Sam, what's piquing your interest this week?
Nothing special. Just kind of piggybacking off what Garrett had probably a month or two ago. I finally sat down and started watching Legion, which has been my first dip back into comic book television in months. It's been quite some time, and it's really good. It's really good. It's heavy, though, so I can't sit through more than one episode at a time without having to take a break. So I'm kind of watching one episode a day.
Yeah.
Television.
Really impressive. Like, I think this is the way to go for this kind of stuff. Like, again, doing something unique and very suited towards a particular character and kind of matching a genre that doesn't necessarily reflect on the rest of what's going on in comic books, comic book movies and stuff. So I'm only 2 episodes in, but it's been very impressive. Good on every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
What's piquing my interest is actually in the world of comic books, something that I have not delved into in quite some time. But as I mentioned about a month ago, I just caught up and watched the entire series of Penny Dreadful, now in the vein of Buffy and Smallville and some of the other fantastical cult shows that have since gone the way of the dodo. They've continued on in comic book form, doing a 6-issue miniseries set 6 months after the series finale, based around some of the storylines that they kind of alluded to, but did not wrap up, leading basically one of the big monster movies that they didn't really tackle, but alluded to a lot was The Mummy. So this year, and in this little like mini season, The Mummy is the big bad, picks up 6 months after the show ends, how it deals with some of the deaths that happened in the series finale and everything else, and kind of wraps up those loose tying threads. It's being written by a couple of the writers from the show, one of which was on it from the very beginning. So I'm actually curious. I might actually pick those up because I do enjoy them. Some are better than others. Smallville was much better than Buffy because Buffy goes off the rails halfway through. But I'm very curious because The Mummy was one of those things of how do you make, and this is one of the challenges they talked about in it, was how do you make a slow moving villain keep that essence of it, but also make them terrifying in the same vein.
You put Tom Cruise in it. And
No, that with those screams.
I think we're all on the edge of our seats.
Well, if you think Tom Cruise screaming would leave you on the edge of your seat, you can tell us. And there's many different ways you can do so.
You could have just said if you're on the edge of your seat for more Three Wise. Damn it, Joe.
I prefer mine. You can email us at threewiseradio@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at 3wiseradio / #3wiseradio. Find us on Instagram at 3wiseradio. or on Facebook at 3 Wise Media. Our sister podcast, Movie Versus, comes out every Thursday, so make sure to check them out as well. That's going to do it for us this week. We will see you next week when, who knows where I'll be broadcasting from, but I guarantee you it won't be from whatever city the Fast and the Furious is at.
3 Wise Radio is a production of 3 Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.